Sit.
Yeah, it's gonna go underneath your prong collar. So prong on top behind his ears, so it's gonna be between the prong and the flat. Yeah, like that. Thank you, sir. Okay, for some reason I thought that was broken.
Oh, okay.
It looked different.
No. That's cool. You're supposed to go on the side like that. Just like you got it. Just like you got it. Sit, boy. Sit. Good boy. Lift you up.
Let me see here.
Yeah. So you do have to cut it,
We have to cut it off. Okay.
but you can do that later, I guess.
Taking the front. That's the seatbelt. That's the seatbelt.
There we go. That's fine. And you can clip this to your, instead of your chain.
Okay.
Chain leashes are more difficult to hold and yeah. And you can
everything. The only reason I got it is for him biting it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, we're gonna work through all that stuff today. Yeah, I've had people break fingers with the chain leashes. Yeah.
They pull, right?
Yeah, like they wrap their hand with it and the dog will lunge and it just broken fingers. Okay, excuse me, sir. Let's just place this here. There you go. And who's gonna go first? I'm assuming you.
I'll go first.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and hand the remote over and feel free to have a seat there. Alrighty, so what we're gonna do today is get the foundation of heel down. Which,
She's nervous.
you're nervous? Oh, you're not the first person. Yeah. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna find that working level, okay? You're at 0, I'm assuming? So go ahead and go to about 15. And
Say.
don't worry about exact number if you land 14, 16, or whatever, it's just general range.
15.
Okay, and then you're gonna go ahead and shorten your leash about halfway. Like that, okay? And when I say tap, you're gonna press that bumpy button on the side, okay?
The bump on the top one?
The bumpy one on the side, right there. We're gonna look at Jack here, so tap, 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 20. Go to 20. Tap, tap, tap. Hit that pager function on the front. Okay, cool. 25, just double checking. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, so I can see a twitch already. Okay, so we have contact, tap, tap, tap. Okay, so you see how it's not consistent? Let's go 30. Tap, 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 tap. So you see the twitch, but he's like not phased,
He's not
right?
looking every time.
Yeah, 35.
Okay.
And this is normal. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, a little bit better, 40.
You see it jumping, right?
Yep,
You see it jumping, but he's not looking every time.
tap. Wait a moment. Tap. Good, wait a moment.
Now he's looking.
Right, now relax. Relax. There you go. Good. So right there on that tap, on that 40, you see how it got a bigger response from him?
Yeah.
So earlier he was staring at Ozula in the pen there, and then once he hit 40, he like backed off from the pen. So that's what we would start our number. 40, okay, as general range, and as we do this more, it's gonna make more sense. So here, what we're trying to do is override the environment. And relax. There you go. Is override the environment. So that number may be different depending whether or not you're outside, there's dogs around, if you're inside a quiet area, stuff like that. So don't get married to a number, it's gonna change according to what's going on, okay? So what we're gonna start with today is the healing exercise, which is gonna be the bulk of, not the bulk, but it's gonna be the foundation of what we're building everything off of, okay? So here, the reactivity stuff, all that based off of the heel tap. And then shorten your leash halfway, about there, and then just relax and tap. Right there, okay? So the conversation right now is, I disagree with what you're doing, okay? Because he's getting anxious, his brain wants to move. So Here, another dog, if they disagree with him, will just come in and go, boom.
Yeah.
Cut it out, right? So that's why I call it a bite on the button. So we're not in obedience mode. This is behavior mode, okay? Obedience and behavior are two different things. Obedience is do this. Behavior is don't do this, right? So here, he just said don't wander and don't go sniff that. So then he goes, all right, well, I'm going to sit next to you. I don't have a problem with that, okay? So here, that's why it's easier to teach a dog what not to do than it is what to do, okay? So here for this exercise, I'm going to demonstrate it to you, and then I'm going to explain it and have you, I'm going to coach you through it, okay? So 3 things. 1 is I train dogs on the left. You good with that? Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Is you're going to be walking with Jack, and every time he gets ahead of you, I'm going to say the word turn. When I say turn, you're going to 180 to the immediate right like this, okay?
Bring him around outside.
Correct. And he's going to pass again. I'm going to say turn. You're going to do this. He's going to pass. I say turn. You're going to do this. We're going to keep repeating that, okay? The next thing I'm going to say is tap. When I say tap, it means press the button 1 time. So if I say tap, 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 that would be your rhythm. If I said tap, 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 that would then be your rhythm. We're going to combine these things, okay? Jack's going to get ahead of you. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Good. He gets ahead of you. Turn, tap, 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 tap. Good. He gets ahead of you. Turn, tap, tap, tap. And we're going to keep repeating that, okay? Last thing is, I'm going to say pull to the left. Pull to the left is when he comes to your right side as you're walking, and we want him to come over to your left side. You're going to lightly pull and tap to get Jack to flush from your right side to your left side. Okay, so you're not yanking him over. Just enough pressure to guide him. Let the remote motivate him to change his behavior. Okay, there's going to be other instructions, but those are the 3 major ones. Questions? Okay.
Wow.
Yep, so we got turn, we got tap, and we got pull to the left. So here in terms of slack, go ahead and stand next to Jack here. And I'm going to have you take up maybe about 1 foot, and let me show you how to hold a leash correctly. My watermelon leash. So here, go ahead and position Jack to your left side. Okay, there you go. You're going to take your leash handle over your thumb. Okay, here you're going to take about 1 foot of slack over your pointer finger, between your fingers like this, and clasp down and relax. Good. So the reason for this is this acts as a lock. So if Jack ever randomly booked it, he's not going to pull that through your thumb. If he pulls it through your thumb, you got a bigger problem. The other thing is this one. It's the same concept. Acts as a lock. So we have like a double lock system. So it's a nice clean way to take up slack in the leash without getting all cluttered. Because we tend to do this. And this is how people break fingers. Okay? In terms, go ahead and bring him back to your side. And then up and go into his position so you're next to him. Last thing is bring that leash. Oh, there we go. You're good. And relax your arm. Is you see the leash, how there's like a J?
Yeah.
See how it's kind of by his armpit?
Yeah.
That's like the perfect length.
That's where you
okay?
want it to be. Okay.
Yes. So most people restrict leash. I give leash because I need him to make mistakes so that we can teach him what not to do.
You have to learn, you have to choose.
Exactly. If it's too short, he can't make mistakes. If it's too long, it's going to get tangled in his feet. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get in position. I'm going to coach you through it. You're going to screw up. Don't worry about it. Okay? Mistakes are going to happen. Alrighty. Go ahead and start to move forward. Turn. Tap. Oh, it's okay. Keep forward. You hit the bumpy one, right?
Yeah.
Turn. Tap. There you go. That was a surprise. So yelp doesn't always mean pain. Yelp can mean surprise.
Surprise.
Turn. Tap. Keep forward. Good. Turn. Tap. Good. Keep forward. Turn. Tap. Let's go down to 32. Good. Keep forward. Good. Slow turn. Good turn. Go ahead and pick up your speed a little bit. Good. Keep forward. Good. Slow turn. Now slow walk, but keep forward. Good. Go ahead and pick up your pace. Go on, slow turn. Okay, now you're gonna walk really slow, but keep forward. Yeah, keep forward. Good, pick up your pace. Good, slow walk again. Turn. Good turn. Go ahead and pick up pace. Good. Slow turn. Now I'm gonna have you do a pretty brisk pace here. So fast, yeah, like that. Then slow. Good. Slow turn. Slow walk, but keep forward. Slower. Stop. Good. Forward. Good. Now what you're gonna do here is I'm gonna have you make a wide turn along the wall. And then Jennifer, correct? Mm-hmm. You're gonna walk past Jennifer really close, tap forward, good, to see if he's tempted to run to her, okay?
Okay. Real close to her.
Correct. Keep forward, tap. Tap, good, because you'll sniff in the ground. Good. Tap forward, tap, tap, keep forward. Good. Go ahead and do a turn. Tap, tap, good. Go ahead and pick up your pace. I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna have you give maybe like a foot or two distance, okay? Good. Good. Go ahead and pick up your pace. Tap forward. Tap. Good. Keep moving. Good. Tap. Good. Turn. You didn't see it, but he was biting the leash. That was that's what that last tap was for.
Okay, yeah, I'm just listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he started to bite the leash, so when you tapped him, you said, don't do that.
Okay.
Good. Now you're gonna slow right here, and you're gonna stop right in front of her, okay? So keep forward. Now slow, keep forward, slower. Now stop. Good. Okay, we're gonna pause right there. How did that happen?
How did that what?
How did that happen?
Okay. The first one from over here, he, I don't think remembered until the first initial yelp. And then at that point, he did what he did over here. He got closer to me. As I was turning, I was bringing him back to me every time you said tap. One thing that I missed is that I was just listening. I wasn't watching for when to tap. You was just telling me, and every time I tapped, he was right back in position. He didn't even get farther up front of me, barely once.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
After the first like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so typically in the beginning for most clients, it's a lot more craziness because there's absolute zero. But you already had a foundation because you've done a ton of positive, right?
Yeah.
So
We've done this stuff with him not paying that good attention, trying to feed him. We've done this.
Yes, so it's familiar.
Yeah.
But the difference is him not being rewarded isn't really a consequence. Right? He's not sitting there going like, oh man, if I don't walk right next to him, I'm not gonna get food. You know, it's like us, like if, I don't make it to the store right on time, I'm not gonna get that free gift for the first 100 people, right? He don't think that way. So I can see the foundation that you've set. I can see it because it was quick. But this is the power of don't do that, okay? So he's like, oh crap, you mean there's consequences now?
Right.
So-
But I never had said that before. That's the thing that stuck last time you told me. I had no nose. I know how to reward. How do I stop him from doing anything?
Exactly.
I had nothing.
There's no incentive. So that's where these things, positive and negative, go really well together. Me personally, regardless if you had done training or not, I would still just be like this. We don't need the other stuff because consequences are the best learning tools for everyone. You know, I think
it was for me in my career. I was an MC, bro. That's how I learned.
Sure.
I put my foot in my mouth and we blast the video. Like, don't do this again. It wasn't like, hey, great job, you do a backflip. I can do backflips. What are you rewarding me for? You
Sure.
know, and we had the whole same type of conversations. you know?
Exactly. We learn more from failures than we do successes.
Absolutely.
That's how that works.
Yep.
Same thing for dogs. The difference is most people, if they were trying to do this by themselves, and I had a consultation earlier, the exact thing that I'm saying here is most people will yank the dog and go no, and they'll keep walking forward. So they're putting in aversive. They're saying no, they're yanking, they're zapping, or whatever. So the intention is there, but for the dog, they jump back and they go, what was the correction for? We're going the same way. Dogs, he cannot deduce, don't pass me up or I'm going to correct you. We have to make it stupid obvious. He gets ahead of you. So if I'm Jack, he passes you up. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, Dad's going that way. He catches up. It disappears, exactly. So it's called what we call the correct and redirect. Excuse me, don't go that way. We're going this way. But also that's where the working number comes into play. So if you're at 15 or whatever, you'd be back and forth all day.
Yeah.
Okay? So like...
You changed it. You noticed it was too high, I guess.
Yes. Because so the 40, the first one caught him off guard, he yipped. We kept working on it. But then he gave 2 more like winces. So I go, okay, too much power. 32. Okay? So you'll learn to develop a feel as you get used to this. So if we look at aversives, running a red light, it's like a $100 ticket. Okay? I ran a red light like a month and a half ago, right? And I'm like, oh crap. But I've also ran red lights before. So I know not to run a red light, and I've been given consequence for a red light before. But yet I gambled it again. Now imagine that $100 ticket was a $1,000 ticket, right? Now you're gonna start, yeah.
That's gonna change it up.
Unless you got money to wipe your ass with,
Right.
you're not gonna wanna gamble running red lights as much, right? So that's how this works. Sure, I can be at 20, whatever, and I can take a longer time to condition really well or whatever. But the problem for the average dog owner is it's too frustrating. It's like kind of the same thing with positive. You're not going to feel like you're making progress.
Yeah, you get frustrated.
And then you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. But I also understand how dogs operate. So if we took Jack to a dog park and he was over the top with dogs, they don't sit him down and say, Jack, did you not read the rules of the dog park? They just bite him.
Just put him in his place.
They don't care if they know him or not. They go, no, we're not going to do that. Boom. So dogs regulate each other. We don't regulate each other. We look to law, enforcement, cops, security to handle situations, and we're told not to escalate situations, right? Unless you absolutely have to. Not in the dog world. Okay, that's the difference. So that's why here I go, well, shit, if a dog doesn't talk to another dog and explain things, then why do I have to, right? And we let Jack pick the number, right? We kept going up, found a number that worked. It was too much, we went down lower. And what's the difference now?
He's been sitting here.
For this whole conversation, we wouldn't even have been able to have.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even been able to do this.
And he's not crying, he's not
No
barking.
whining,
This,
No.
this has never happened.
This is
before.
brand new. Now, I am noticing him. He is incredibly eager. Look at how he's desperate to know, what are we doing next? He's like, look at his face.
Yeah.
So
Like,
this,
he's ready, like, oh, yo, what are we doing? He's absolutely ready.
you're half correct.
Okay.
He's going, oh shit, what just happened?
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
That's good for you.
he's going, whoa, this is a thing now.
Yeah, that's new.
So that's why, I love that I was raised old school, right? I was spanked. Don't do that was only don't do that
I use that.
until I got whooped.
You said it to me last time I used that. I said that same thing to my friend.
Uh-huh.
Don't do that. It didn't mean anything else. It's like I'm ass whooped.
Yeah.
Then it meant a whole lot more.
Yeah,
All of a sudden.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why we have the saying, talk to talk and walk to walk, right? So we get people that talk smack all the time. All right, you gonna back it up? Because until you back it up physically,
It don't mean
doesn't mean anything. Here we are, okay? So that's the power of aversives. When done correctly, it's a pretty quick process. It's not because I'm lazy, but it's because I understand how dogs think. Dogs don't warm each other up to things, whatever. They just simply apply aversives. They bite, they correct each other to the extent that they think is needed, and then they continue on with life.
And who can argue that, bro? Are they going to argue that? Like, who's going to argue that?
Positive reinforcement,
Why would they argue that?
All the
That's what
time.
happens. What are they going to say? That's
All
what
the time.
happens, you know?
it happens all the time. Go on TikTok, you'll see.
Damn, yo.
Yeah,
Like that, you're trying to
you will see
pretend?
the bickering and the back and forth. It's I'm on it just to educate people, but you'll see people on my shit going like, oh my God, like you just want to hurt dogs. I go, no. And it's funny because positive will rather or sooner tell you to euthanize your dog than to tell you to find a trainer that uses tools like
That's
this.
crazy. That's crazy, yo.
Does it make sense?
Yeah,
But that's what they don't tell you. They feed you BS to make you think that positive will work. So you're thinking, oh, this must work. It doesn't, it's a lie. But then when it doesn't work, they'd rather tell you to euthanize or kill a dog than to use an e-collar or a prong collar. That's crazy.
You're right about the fact that there's no no's. There's just no no's. You're not telling the dog no ever. You're just rewarding stuff that you like, and then you're trying to reward him when he's doing stuff that you don't like. You're never saying no. I'm ready to go to bat for you, yo. I'm just like, well, this is 10 times better in one half a session.
Now, let's look at this outside, okay? Because we're inside my facility, right? Is now we just use logic, okay? Now, he is still in the learning phase technically, but I can literally take this, teach a dog in 15 minutes, go for a walk, and within another 15 minutes, have a nice, pleasant walk. Because the difference is going to be number, okay? Because inside we went to 40, we brought it down to 32. We go outside, now we're passing, there's a dog park right there. You walk down past the dog park, he's like, holy shit, dog park, right? Okay, so now dog park is more meaningful than the command of heel. 35, 40, 45, 50, keep repeating until you find the number that overrides the dog park. Does that make sense? So you're just adjusting the number according. That's why I said it's going to change depending on the environment. And once you get a feel for it, we don't look at the collars when we train because the dog tells us. So like you said, oh, you recognize from 40 to 32, right? Because of what he was telling me. So once you get tuned into that, it's just common sense. Oh, we're going to walk past the dog park. He's usually around 55. I'm going to just go to 55. I'm not going to gamble staying at 30 and hope he behaves. That's another problem. Is people tend to hold off on aversives and hope the dogs behave so they don't have to use it. And I go, no. I use every opportunity to use the aversive as opposed to give the dog the opportunity to avoid it because that's why they become gamblers. Then nothing means anything. Okay, so every opportunity you're like, nope, not gonna do that, not gonna do that, definitely not gonna do that, boom. Right, very simple. He's super black and white, okay? Questions about any of this so far?
No, I know what's happening. I don't know if you realized how the thing is working. Like it's not on right now.
Oh, you
It's
turned it on?
only, no. It's set to a certain level. So when I press it, that certain level of charge hits him.
Oh,
Correct.
no, I didn't.
So it's not on the whole time. It's
Yeah,
only,
yeah, no, I did.
Yeah, it's so with the nick function, because you have nick and continuous. Nick, you press and you hold, he's gonna feel that tap, but even though you're holding it, nothing else happens. It's pre-timed. Continuous will go on as long as you hold the button down, and then when you release it, will go away. Okay, but we don't, so continuous is nothing bad. It's just not how I train dogs. I find the nick function is better. Continuous would be like, let's say Jack somehow got off the leash and started taking off, and you're like, holy crap, this is an emergency, and we've not covered recall. Continuous, 127, and then see what happens, But of course, we would condition recall and all that stuff, so we avoid that. But I've had that happen to people, where the dog took off on them before we did come when called, and they had to 127 their dog to make the dog return. So, okay. So we're gonna do another little run here, and I'm gonna coach you through it. Forward.
Ready? Come on. Come on.
Good, then slow turn. Good, go ahead and pick up your speed. Good, slow turn. Good, now slow walk, keep forward. Good, fast. Slow. Good, keep forward, tap. Good, keep forward, tap. Keep forward, good. Now pull to your left, tap, keep forward, turn. Good, relax. Good, keep forward. Go ahead and pick up speed. Good, slow turn, yep. Slow to a stop. Good, we're gonna ignore that for now, that he's crossing over you like that.
Right.
When you move forward here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna move forward with your right leg. Because if you move forward with your left leg, it's gonna push him out to your right.
Okay.
So what you're gonna do, because his head's crossed like this, is you're just gonna go boom, and it's gonna push him out like that. Okay, then you move forward. Go ahead, good. Good, go ahead and pick up speed a little bit. Yeah. Good. Good, slow turn. Good, turn and slow to stop here. Good, this is okay. You're gonna take 5 steps.
Forward.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. You're gonna take 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Good, and then 1 big step.
You heard his teeth.
It's all right. Forward. Good. And slow turn. Good. And slow down and stop. Hey, would you smack a leash on Azula, Elias? And then bring her down so we can add some distraction for them here. So,
That whole time, I barely tapped when he came behind me.
yeah, it was just that
That's
little
the
bit right
only
there.
time that I had to tap. He did the rest of the whole shit on his own.
So when I said in the console, you know, I take 5, he takes 5. I
Right,
take 3, he
right.
takes 3, right? It's literally that simple. What you did earlier of like, don't go that way, we're going this way, and all the stuff that you've done, okay? All that foundation that you did, that's why this is happening so quick, okay? Because now it's balanced out. He's like, oh shit, I guess I should just listen to the food, you know? So here, now that he knows to follow your lead, you're able to do these kind of incremental movements, and that tells you the level of focus that your dog has, okay? So what we're gonna do is I have Elias here with Azula. Go ahead and give her a little bit more slack there. Azula's a board and train puppy that we're doing. And he's gonna just start walking by you and stuff as you're moving. Everything's gonna stay the same. If you see him go or anything, you're gonna tap, keep moving forward or whatever to correct him, but we're gonna see how well he holds his impulses, okay?
You want me to put her in the heel?
Correct. Okay. Go ahead and start walking forward. Good. Tap. Good. Heels checking out Azula. She's only 4 months, buddy. Go ahead and turn. So now there's more distraction going.
Yeah,
Yep.
see, he's going over there. Okay.
Okay, but nothing. Good. Yep, go ahead and slow turn there. He avoided her. Pull tap, good job. Yep, now relax. Good, we're gonna try that again. Go ahead and turn. And you're gonna walk on his outside so that you have Azula going by Jack there, okay, Elias? Yeah. Good. And we're gonna start closing this gap. I'm gonna have you walk about 3 feet of them, okay? Good. Good. So he just glanced at her, that's fine. Go ahead and turn again. We're gonna do another at that same distance, Elias. Good. Now we're gonna go closer. We're gonna go about 2 feet away from each other. Tap forward. Good. Now he just looked at her, but the more black and white you are, the better he's gonna be. Okay, because now he's in work mode. Go ahead and turn. So when he's in work mode, it's like right now, I'm not on my phone, I'm not drinking a beer, I'm not smoking a doobie, I'm working. Okay, exactly. Now if he's off the clock, he has more freedoms, but I don't care what he's walking past, when you've put him in the queue of heel, his job is to stay on that hip. Now we're gonna walk about 1 foot away, okay, real close. And I'm gonna have you walk real slow with Jack there. Right. There you go. Go and pick up your speed.
Never in a million years, yo. That's crazy. That's crazy. Good boy.
Go ahead and come to a stop with the Azula there. And you're gonna walk real slow past the Azula in the sitting position right there, okay? Right. Now go ahead and circle around her. Yeah. Yep. And what you're gonna do is go ahead and come to a stop where you're at right there. Good. Elias, what you're gonna do is pop her on the heel, come down and turn, and I'm gonna have you come to a stop right beside Jack facing that way, about 1 foot away. Okay. Okay? Go ahead. Good, right there. And slow to a stop. Right there. Good. Okay. Tap. Right. Okay, we're gonna pause right there. So, here, you just bit him. So, he was showing interest because she's close. So that's why we're doing this. And you go, nope, not on the clock.
When he started to go over towards her.
Yes. We wouldn't wait for him to fully be up. The moment you see the process happening, you can disagree with it, okay? You're not being mean, you're being black and white. So the more strict you are, the better he's gonna be. People, one of my client earlier, her dog used to drag her all over the place, and she loathed taking her dog out for walks because of that. And then she said she started to feel like, negative. I told her, because I said, even harsh corrections are fine. What creates issues is negative energy. Yelling, shouting, screaming, anger, frustration. That makes the consequence bad, so to speak. But I could blast him on 100 for something and be completely neutral, and he'd be fine.
He's just going to understand it as a correction.
Exactly. But if I'm like, no, that's where we create problems. Okay? So now she's like, my relationship with my dog is so much better because I'm not frustrated now. I actually enjoy walking my dog, and I do more stuff with my dog, right? But she was also being very direct with all the things that she didn't want the dog to do. So it made her life better, which then in turn makes the dog's life better because there's no frustration there, there's no spite or whatever, and now the dog's doing more stuff as opposed to being withdrawn because the person can't control them.
Right.
Same thing here.
That's the same thing. You have to, I understand where she's coming from. You have to start limiting activities because everything I take this dude to, he's going to cause a scene. Yeah, no doubt.
Right. So now it's like you're doing more stuff, and then his life opens up, right? Because now there's no frustration. Now you're talking his language. Okay. So here, as soon as, because we're at the appropriate number, boom, right away, right? So e-collar should never feel like an argument.
Right. Yeah.
That's the purpose of the correct working number. Is if you feel like you're arguing with him, you're probably too low.
It's not the right number.
Yeah, that's what people struggle with. Okay, so they'll be like, man, Jesse, I turned 100 times every day this week. I'm like, you're too low. I know it. Oh, but the dog did so well last time. I'm like, yeah, last time. Yesterday is not today. Go up. So that's why we adjust to the situation.
The first time I walked by, I did what you said. I did what you said don't do. I waited to see what he would do. And you have to say, tap that shit, yo. Don't wait, yo. Keep him in line. As soon as he goes, don't wait. Just,
right.
We're going forward, bro.
So what happens is the faster you catch him, then he starts to self-regulate. Because now the brain can't even get to 1. He's going to right away retract. But if you let the brain get 1, 2, 3, he's going to gamble getting 1, 2, 3 because he's like, well, I'll take the hit for 3. Yeah. But if he can't even get to 1, he's not going to want to take the hit. Okay? So it's going to start walking again. Good. Now slow turn here. Good.
There you go.
And you're going to stop right next to each other. Right there. Good. So you see he's even giving her his back?
He's not even looking over there. He's
Yep.
right here.
Because what you just communicated to him from earlier was, hey, that dog, don't matter.
Yeah, ignore her.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, that's the power of consequence. Okay. It's just don't do that. Questions on any of this so far?
I love it. No, this is not. I'm all about it. It's the same thing that you can't do, that I can't get to trying to reward him. Getting him to ignore a dog this close.
Yeah, because with a treat you would have been like over here, right? But then he's like, well, shit, I never get to walk next to a dog this close.
Yeah.
It's going to overpower.
That's what it did.
Or-
that was the dog, right? That was the dog that day. That day when I came, right before you, that was the dog.
Oh, yeah,
Outside,
that was
he
him.
Losing it.
That's
He was
right.
Losing it. He couldn't even.
Harley,
I
the
couldn't
one
even-
who's sleeping right there? Yeah. So here, and even Azula here is like 4.5 months.
That's great.
Okay, and she's off leash trained. She's a board and trained. She's gonna be here for another 5 days.
Okay.
She's a young puppy, man. That puppy can do some crazy stuff
She's on. Okay,
at her age, right?
Yeah.
Her impulse control, because you've seen puppies, I'm sure, how neurotic they are, right?
Yeah.
But it's because nobody wants to bite their puppies.
She's literally chilling to a point that I cannot believe at that age. You know what I mean?
So did someone just get a dog and then you just train it and then they take it back at a later time? I didn't even know that was the service.
That's board and train. Yeah, I've heard
Correct.
that term before.
I've never heard
Yeah. So here, because Azula is a good puppy, and you're good, Elias. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is with the Zula here, I typically don't do remote with puppies under 6 months because the owners will have issues with it.
Right.
They feel bad about it. But the owner was like, nah, I'm good. Take the puppy. Right? And she's been here for, today's going to be the start of her 4th week. And she's a good puppy. The owner was just like, I want control.
Yo, that's what I wish my brother would have done. That's what I
Let's
wanted.
do that.
That is what I definitely would have wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish we met you sooner.
Yeah. That's exactly what Benny always talked about. I'm gonna have a dog that does whatever I say. You don't know.
Yeah.
We had to find this guy.
Yeah.
So here, but I always encourage people, do it yourself because you learn so much more. Because we already know how to do this. Okay, I've been doing this for 10 years. I literally see 8 to 10 dogs a day. So, my exposure to dogs and what people experience with dogs is much greater, right? Whereas you just have Jack.
Yeah.
And
it's bonding to do it with Jack.
yeah, well, it's you and him. Like, I have nothing to do with this.
He didn't do it once.
He doesn't even know.
He showed me. I did everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this isn't tied to me. It's all tied to you.
Yep.
Because that's the thing that a lot of people complain about. Is like, oh man, Jesse, when the trainer shows up, my dog listens, my trainer disappears or like doesn't listen anymore. I'm like, yeah, because it's associated to the trainer. So that is a drawback to the board and train here. But we have people come in each week to transfer stuff.
Yeah.
But the collar makes it super simple because when the owner takes it, if she taps that button at the same time or at the same number that we tap it at, boop, right there. Okay? Let's talk.
Do it.
So do you think, we could leave this on Jack and take him home? Because, he has freakouts in the car.
Yes. Okay, so what you would do. Oh, yeah.
Then over and under.
Yeah.
I think I got that.
The other way.
Wait, no.
From the inside. There you go. There you go.
Wait. Yeah.
You got it. It's just you have it from the outside as opposed from the inside.
Outside of my hand.
So go on the inside, over, but then.
The other way, like you grab this and
Yeah.
then it goes over like that.
Yeah, there you go.
I got you.
Cool.
Okay, and the bump.
That's
The bumpy one.
tap. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm, nervous.
It's okay. Go ahead and just relax.
Good. It's nothing. You're good. Good. Look at him. He's awesome. Look.
So now a little bit of a change here. Tap.
Tap.
Wait a second. Good. It's okay. So now with the transfer, okay? So like you said, stay put, didn't move.
It didn't move.
But he goes, oh, you got the leash now. And he started to get pent up. And he went, yeah, I got the leash, but I also have the collar. So immediately, boom, we disagree with that. So now he's going, wait a minute. So it's the same for you like it is with him.
Transfer.
Boom. Right there. Okay?
Which that doesn't really happen with the immediately with the problem collar.
No.
It doesn't happen immediately like that.
Because now with the prong collar, the difference is if I had the leash and I corrected him, you had the leash and you corrected him, and she corrected him, we're going to have different corrections.
Slightly different.
Right? Because I've been doing this 10 years. I got 10 years of experience in that correction. Right? You would have what you just learned, and vice versa. You just grab the leash. But here, press a button.
Exactly the same.
Right? Just press a button. And that's the thing, it's funny because people will bash e-collar and say oh, you're just lazy. You didn't want to take the time, which obviously you can argue against.
Ain't nobody lazy.
Yeah, no, that was not
Whatever.
No. So that's why I was like, man, kudos to you because you have the patience of a saint
You
because,
saw me struggling.
yeah, I was like, dude, and you did it for months.
Yeah.
So you're not lazy. You just saw the limitations of it,
Yeah.
okay? So here, I started off purely positive. I was against these tools, prong collars and e-collar and all that stuff, okay? But then, I'm not dumb. I'm like, this isn't getting very far. So then I started seeking more answers. I didn't get caught up in the what everybody was saying about positive only, it's the best way to train. I was like, no, because I'm not getting anywhere. Started seeking answers, and then I got to this point, then I studied with my mentor, and here I am 10 years later, right? And all my dogs are trained on this tool because of this. You're not dog trainers. You want something that's gonna work, that's effective, that's easy to do, that doesn't require you to become a dog trainer in order to do it, because that's what you were practically becoming.
No, I was studying every day. I don't want to work this career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so if you need a job, let me know. But So yeah, it's this simple. Okay, I'm going to teach you what you're going to need. You've done a great foundation, so you're going to get, I imagine you're going to get pretty far fairly quickly. Okay, so now you're going to do the same thing.
Okay.
He actually just did all the work, just so you know. So I'm going to try to force things to happen so that you can learn how to correct Jack. Okay. So yep, you're good, and then you're going to relax. So again, looking at that leash, you want to have that J kind of by the armpit, like where you have it right there. Okay. So if you're walking with Jack and the leash is like that, and you go for 20 minutes and he's right there, what does that tell you?
He's doing good.
Yeah.
He's on point.
He's got the
Yeah.
concept, right? Because we're no longer restraining,
Right, we don't have to.
right?
Muscle him.
We're saying, do it, okay? Now, when it comes by walking past distractions in the beginning, what I'm gonna have you do is step aside, okay? And let it pass, but when you step aside, you would shorten your leash. Okay, the only reason why I'm having you do that is because inside versus outside is different, okay? And it's easier to control a dog when you're stationary than when you're moving, okay? So if Jack were to ever become reactive, you want to get in the habit of pulling straight up, okay? Yeah, not back, not up and back, okay? So go ahead and pull up. More, more. Right there. You see how much work you have to do to finally get pressure? So what you would do is you would shorten it. So go ahead and shorten it here. Yep, pull, pull, pull. And then relax your arm. Pull some more. Okay, now relax. Now go up. Right there. Okay. So whenever you step aside, I want you just for this week, anticipate Jack might be reactive. Shorten your leash like so. And this is where the lock is super important. Because if he just were to lunge, again, it's locked. He's not going to get far. Is your limiting range of motion. But also, if he were to lunge, boom, I'm right there as opposed to up here, which also he has all the length of the leash to come out over here. Okay, so that's the purpose of this. Once that dog or person or distraction passes, you give the slack back, we start walking again. Okay, so for this week, just assume that that's going to happen, because we want to see how does this impact his impulse control in a realistic setting. Okay, now ideally, what we're doing here is actually what's going to fix the problem. So that what happened with Harley over there outside the first time, we shouldn't even see that. Okay, but it's easier to correct them when you're stationary than when you're in motion. Okay?
Okay.
Questions?
No.
So go ahead and give the slack back to Jack there. Yep, and then relax. A little bit more slack.
Put it by his armpit.
Right there. Yeah, so the bottom of that J right there, right by the armpit, like where you have it, okay? Good, and you're just gonna start walking this way. And relax. Yeah, just walk. Now turn, tap. And when you turn, it's gonna be a sharper turn. It's a 180 turn, okay? Good, slow turn.
Slow turn?
Just keep walking. Good. Go and speed up. Yeah, just ignore that. Yep. Now slow. Slow turn. Good. Go ahead and come to a stop. That's okay. Forward. Yep. Good slow turn. Slow walk, but keep forward. Hey, Elias. And slower, keep forward. Good, go ahead and turn. Hey, Elias. Would you shut off that blower, please? Shut off the blower. Turn it off. Thanks. Good. Slow turn. Now slow to a stop here. Good. 5 steps. Good. 3 steps. Good. 1 big step. Good. So right there, he's like 90%. On the first 2, he kind of overshot a little bit.
Yeah, right.
That's okay, because he still ultimately stopped, came by your side. This is just to show the level of attention you have. So if he was like 40, 50%, it would look really shitty, okay? So whenever you're walking with him, if you're trying to test his focus, what do you think you could do?
The steps, like 5 steps, 3 steps, 1 step.
Okay, that's one. What else?
This thing,
You want to test his attention.
test if he's paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't know, I feel like I'm missing something.
I'm not gonna take your answer. Go ahead.
I mean, I want to say like, Jack, watch me and do the tree thing. I don't know how to test if he's paying attention.
What else are you doing here to show his level of focus?
Just standing still.
Technically, yeah.
He said stop.
Do you have a guess?
Yeah,
What
yeah. You stopping, if he stops, that's cool. When you turn, if he's with you,
Mhm.
you're good. If he's not with you, turn around. Go the other way. Like that, all that shit is making him pay attention to. You said stop, that's good. You know what I'm saying? When you take the 3 steps, cool. You gotta start with that outside leg though. If he's over here, start with that outside leg. You're gonna turn, you know what I'm saying? Move him out the way with that outside leg. But that's the whole thing that we're doing, is testing to see if he's paying attention to you.
And there's one more thing. What are you doing before some of the turns and the stops?
Slowing down and going faster.
Yeah. Okay.
Changing your pace.
So, you guys drive, right?
Yeah.
What do you do before you stop?
Slow down.
What do you do before you turn?
Slow down.
Right? Because when you're driving, we have other drivers. And they're not going to read what you're doing. They don't know what's going on up here, right? So we pump our brakes, we put our blinkers on, we change our speed, so that when we stop, the person behind us goes, oh, you're stopping, I'll stop too. Because if you don't communicate, what's going to happen?
You'll hit it.
Exactly. If we're going to turn, if you're going really fast and you just turn, you could potentially flip your car. You got to slow down, right? But also if there's a person behind you, you got to cue to him, hey, or her, like, I'm doing something. So you can change lanes smoothly. So here with Jack, now he's following you, okay? So you have to now communicate to him that something is changing, and it's always by slowing down, okay? So if you're on a walk, Jack is on your hip, it's been 20 minutes, and you're like, are you on autopilot or are you still paying attention? We wouldn't stop, because it'd be like abruptly stopping when you're driving. You would slow down,
Oh, okay.
okay? You would slow down. So if Jack is paying attention, what's he do?
What do you do if he is paying attention?
So you slow down, what should he do if he's paying attention?
He'll also slow down.
Correct.
Yeah.
If he doesn't slow down, what's he gonna do?
He's gonna go ahead of you.
And what are you gonna do in response?
The clicker.
And
And slow down. Speed up. Stop. Turn around.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go. He keeps going.
tap and turn.
Tap and
Remember,
turn.
don't go that way because now I'm going this way. So when we do those abrupt turns, it's because he's not paying attention. So when you first started, when I was like, turn, right? Because remember when I demonstrated, I said turn like
so
this.
you're watching to see if he was moving from his spot, and when he was, then I was turning around to like catch
Yes
my-
and no. So for you, because he had already got the foundation, his turns were turns with you. Now, had Jack got ahead of you, I would have said turn, and you would have just done this abruptly and tapped them to bring them back to your hip. So when you slow turn, that's because you're giving Jack the opportunity. I'm recognizing, oh, he's paying attention now. So now it's only fair that I communicate so he can turn with me, okay? But if he just bolts ahead of you, I'm not paying attention. Tap, 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 turn, bring him back to the hip,
Okay.
okay? So, and this is a forever rule.
Slowing down is like a turn signal.
Yes, okay? So if you slow down, you did your part. So like if you slow down and pumped your brakes and the person behind you crashed into you because they were on their phone, that's on you. I did my job. Same thing here. If you slow down, you did your part. He just wasn't paying attention. Turn, tap, bring him back to the hip, okay? So anytime Jack gets ahead of you, you always turn and go the opposite way paired with the tap. So if I'm walking and I go, are you paying attention? I would slow down. He slows down too. Good. Then I come to a stop. Okay? So my general rule is at least 3 steps if you're coming to a stop. More is perfectly fine. Okay? But at least 3 for him to pick up on like, oh, something's changing. Okay? Does that make sense? So now, because e-collar is telling him pay attention, then you have to communicate what it is that you're doing so that he learns to follow you. Okay? Go ahead and walk a little bit.
Come on, Jack.
Can I have perspective? Okay, be right out.
Is this okay? Or should we be?
I keep going. Don't call
Yep.
it face down. I feel like what he's doing is based on what he was used to before. He's looking over there like he's going to be paid like how he used to. But, I mean...
Do you mind running out, Frank? I'm on a session right now in the license somewhere.
Walk by dogs? Yo, I'll take it. Don't allow that.
Good,
Tap
now
and-
turn, yep.
Tap and turn.
There you go, good. Hey, Elias, they're here to pick up Frank.
You can go a little faster.
There you go.
Kind of own, yo, walking right now.
Good.
There you go. Just on that walk, yeah.
Exactly.
Night and day, yo. Wow.
Now go ahead and speed up really fast. Then slow. And then turn. Good. See how he just turned with you? So if he moves with us, we don't do anything. Okay? You only correct him when he's not matching you, which is going to be him bypassing you. You just pivot, turn, tap.
How come he's like his mouth on my leg?
I'll explain that, yeah. So go ahead and speed up again. Go ahead and slow turn. Good. And you're gonna walk really slow, but keep forward. Slower. Then stop. Okay. Who can take a guess why he's facing the way he's facing?
Van guessed that it's because we were feeding him right here.
Okay, it's a good guess. And if we were doing that method still, I would say yes. What else?
That's where the remote is. He's looking towards that, it felt like. Felt like he's looking towards
Earlier he was because of the line from it, so he was kind of like mouthing it. Which, by the way, because you end up moving the remote out the way, you could just tap him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like, oh, what is that? Can I chew on it? Nope. Which direction do you keep turning?
Keep turning right, so he's anticipating.
So is he looking to when to turn?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's going. Sorry, just make sure the dog. Yeah, you keep making right turns. So now he's going like, all right, well, you're not going to catch me off guard now. So now I'm going to start looking that way, which is why sometimes when you would stop, he'd come over like this.
Yeah.
So it's a problem, but it's a good problem.
Okay.
Him being in front of you is because he gets in the way. We'll fix that later. It's fine. But now he gets in the way. So I got to walk forward. So that's why I said when he does that, move forward with your right leg, bump him out. But he's doing this because he's thinking, shit, every time you stop or slow down, we're almost always going to the right. So he starts to favor that side. Okay?
Okay.
So here he's just being very mindful. Now, you might find during the week as he gets this concept more, he might push too much. Okay? Just keep walking forward. Because what most people tend to do,
Don't let him bully you out the way.
exactly, okay? You just keep straight, okay? Just use your leg, just like I don't do this. I just keep forward and every time he goes, boom, it's just gonna bump his head out. And eventually he should remove it himself. If he doesn't, no big deal. The next class is gonna fix that problem, okay? But if we see that, it means he's learning. He's going, oh crap, like now you mean something to me, so I better be mindful of you.
Paying attention.
So like here, remember during the consult how he wouldn't settle?
No. Yeah.
Right?
I absolutely remember.
And I said that, you know, if I'm relaxed, he should be relaxed, right? And this is happening because of discipline. You've removed a lot of options for him. So he's like, all right, if those things aren't an option, my only option left is relax. So does this all make sense?
Yeah.
So when it comes to practicing this in homework and stuff,
Right.
is now all your walks become these kind of walks.
You held it.
Okay, so what I suggest in the beginning is you collar him up, everything's turned on. Go out, get the potty done first. Pee, poop, get that out the way first. Once that's done, then find your working number. You're always gonna start at 15. Okay, 15, tap, 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 20, tap, 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 25. Keep going up until eventually what you're probably gonna see is if he's over here, when he feels it, he's gonna go like this, and just go right next to you. Because that's what he's learned today, okay? So you go, okay, 35. I'm gonna try 35. So I have my 3 tap 3 correction rule. So earlier when we were finding the number, it was tap, 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 bump it, tap, 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 bump it. So if I don't get a response by that third tap, I'm raising it about 5 levels. Then I have my 3 correction rule. So every turn and tap is a correction. So turn and tap, turn and tap, turn and tap. 35 isn't working, 40, reset. Turn and tap, turn and tap, turn and tap. Still pulling, 40 is not working, 45, reset. And keep repeating. Eventually, you're gonna hit like 65. And all of a sudden, off the first hit, boom, there he is. Now I can just keep walking straight. So in the beginning, when you started, it was a lot of back and forth. But because we already had the correct number, and we had more than we needed, we actually had to go lower. But that's why it was such a quick turnaround, okay?
And we put his leash on, we use the prong collar and just have this on, like you're not putting the leash on.
Correct, yeah, because if you put the leash on the e-collar, it's gonna pull the e-collar, which is gonna inhibit contact, okay? So the setup that you have here is what you would use. And eventually, I would do this for the first couple of weeks and see how he does. If he's making great progress, you don't even need the prong anymore. Just clip the leash to his flat collar, put his e-collar on.
Okay.
Okay? The only reason why I would suggest it for the first couple of weeks is because we're gonna see how this transfers into the real world, is the prong gives you a little bit more leverage. So it's not there, yeah, it makes that much easier as opposed to a blunt surface. He's gonna have more leverage over you, okay? And then you just walk. So then if I'm walking with Jack for 30 minutes and he's on my hip and he stops when I stop and he slows down when I slow down, he turns when I turn, we're good. Don't need to do anything. So if you find yourself, let's say every walk it's 20 turns, okay, at 40, what does that tell us?
Do we have to go up?
Yes, because every walk is 20 turns at 40, 45. Now it's not 20 turns, now it's 10 turns, but it's always 10 turns every walk. Then I go to 50, right? Right, so you'll know when you hit the right number because you're gonna be like, man, at 65, I've only hit the turn once in 5 days. Okay, it's just that logical. That's why I said about the red light, right? If it's a $100 ticket, whatever. If it's a $1,000 ticket, I'm gonna start paying attention more to those red lights, right? Same thing here. So this first week, you're always gonna start at 15 and you're gonna work your way up. So the next time I see you, you're gonna come in, I'm gonna ask you some questions. I'm gonna say, what's the highest you went? And you're gonna be like, man, Jesse, at 65, he's a perfect dog. And I go, okay, we can just start the walks at 65 now.
Just started at that.
Started perfect from the get-go. But what you're doing right now is research, if you will, right? You yourself are learning how to read him, how to recognize when you're too low, when you're too high, adjusting the collar, right? And making sure it's like, yeah, we did 3 walks for 7 days. That's 28 walks or whatever. And 65 at every walk, he was perfect. Then I go, all right, then we start at 65 now, okay? Questions?
As far as what we're talking about, the heel, everything, is awesome.
Uh-huh.
My questions are other stuff, which we'll probably get to in other classes.
Like what?
Off the leash at home, barking and stuff.
Oh, okay,
we're
sure.
Probably gonna talk about all
Can we
that.
have this thing on like all day?
Sure, what you're gonna do is use the collar only for the stuff that we covered.
Yeah, heel.
Shoot me an email, because I have more clients after you today, and just say, hey, Jesse, send us those videos. And I'm gonna know what to talk about, what it is. I'm gonna send you some videos to allow you to correct Jack in the home that's not reliant on the collar,
Okay.
okay? Because remember, it's a cop on a collar. So when you remove it, he's gonna go back to being barking Jack, okay? So outside on the walks, for sure. If you wanna get him used to it quicker, you can put the collar on, have him just wear it, but not doing anything with it within the home and stuff. If he's gonna wear it longer than 2 hours, which I don't think he will, is you need to rotate the collar.
Oh, you need to move it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
because of the
contact.
pressure source, okay? When you put it on, I suggest alternating sides every time you put it on,
Okay.
because if you always put it on the same spot, you can also get a pressure source. If you want to create another positive association, every time you put it on him, give him a treat. When you remove it, give him a treat. But typically with the walks and stuff, dogs will get over it, okay? And he's actually taking to the collar really well. Like he's chill, he's laying down, he's relaxed, right? His perception is gonna be of the collar is gonna be yours. So you're like, oh man, Jack, man, I know it's time to train, which I don't feel that here. He's gonna pick up negative energy. He's like, well, man, if you don't like it, then why am I gonna like it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're always indifferent or upbeat, okay? For the walks, 3 20-minute walks a day, 4 20-minute walks a day is good. Dogs are better in smaller chunks. And
So that would be, I need to shorten the walks.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So if you're doing like a 45-minute walk, which you can still do it, okay? But if you're doing that because of his energy levels, it's not because of energy levels. It's because of lack of discipline. Okay, now we got discipline in play. And we're gonna see what happens, okay? So a lot of times when people think something is too much energy, it's the lack of boundaries. So when he first came in, someone might say like, oh, he's got a lot of energy. I go, no, he just hasn't had his ass whooped.
You know, doubt, and that's exactly what everybody says. Oh, he's got so much energy. He's an energetic job. And like you're saying, it's like you don't know what he's supposed to do. He has no boundaries at all.
Yeah.
Now he knows what not to do. You know?
Remember how whiny and crying he was? Yeah?
Yeah.
That's gone. Nothing. After we started. We walked in, he was
And then we just smacked him around a little bit, and then here we are.
chilling.
Yeah.
Good to go.
So, shorter walks are better. Feel free to do longer. It's just that he'll process faster in smaller chunks. That's why we did a little bit. We talked, did a little bit, talked, did a little bit, talked. Okay.
Just like practicing music.
Exactly. Actually, I was gonna say the same thing. So, because I play guitar, so my teacher was like, when you practice, he's like, don't practice for 8 hours straight. He's like, practice your scales for 15 minutes, a couple times a day, because your brain processes stuff after you've done it. Okay. Same thing here.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, release command. I use the word break if you have free or okay as a release. So when you're walking with Jack here, once you start this process, his job is to be at your hip. Your job is to make sure he is at your hip. Okay? Nice and relaxed. We're walking. Hey, Jack, you've been great for 30 minutes. I'm going to come to a stop. He should stop with you. We wait a moment. Whatever your release word is. Do you have a release word?
Break.
Break, yep. Break. Break means your job is done. So then he can pee, poop, rolling around, sniff the ground, have a cigarette. I don't care. He's on his own time. And then once you're ready to go, tap, tap, start walking, we go. So we're not going to say heal this week. Okay? This.
Is saying it for us.
Yes. Okay? He doesn't need words. We need words. Okay? So you're just going to tap, and then it tells him, okay, we're going. Boom. Because he's only learned one thing right now. Next class, we're going to issue the word of heal. Okay? But I always teach the behavior first, and then I label it. Okay? Trying to think here. Other questions?
This is, you're definitely going to do good homework with this.
Yeah.
Walking around Wells Park, that's going to work wonderfully.
Last thing
Lots of distractions for us to work with.
is, let's say, like right now when you walk out, expect him to forge. Okay? Ignore it for now. That's stress levels. So he's like, get me the hell out of here. Okay? When you practice this at home, on your way home, if you see Jack trying to forge, he's like, oh shit. He's like, I know where we're going. I want to get there faster because I don't like these disciplined walks right now. I tell people, give yourself more time coming back. So if I have a 20-minute walk, I might spend 5 minutes going one way, 15 minutes coming back. Because you have to correct the forging. Because he's going, I want to get home fast because I don't like disciplined walks. But it doesn't matter how he feels. He still has to be at your hip. So you have to make time to do your corrections and the bumping and stuff. So even though he wants to forge home, he still has to be at your hip. Okay, every case is different. So we'll see how he plays out. But if you start to see that, where it's like, crap, he really wants to go home, then the next time you do your walk, you want to give yourself time for that. Let's say,
Take the time off from the beginning. Don't go out as far because you know you have to do the work coming back.
come back. So like, let's say you get stuck and you're like, oh crap, I didn't give myself time to come back. Just stop, wait a moment, Jack break, and let him pull you home. Okay, because there's a definitive end.
He's off work.
Yes, okay, you've clocked him out. So it doesn't matter what he does. Because people will get concerned, they're like, Jesse, if I say break, my dog pulls me, isn't that gonna affect the healing? I go, no, he said break. He's off the clock. It's when you say heal, or so when you start to tap, and you bring him here, and then he decides, nah, I'm not gonna do this, and you're like, well, I'm not gonna reinforce it. Well, now he's learned, yes, okay? Otherwise, as long as you say the word break, it's the end to the exercise, he's good to go, okay?
Okay.
Anything else?
Good work, Jack.
Thank you. That's what else.
You're welcome.
Hell,
Yeah, that's,
we'll see you next week. I mean, Sunday.
and if anything pops up, you can shoot me an email, but just shoot me the reminder for the videos, so you can correct the stuff
Okay, I'll send it.
inside the home, okay?